is famous around the world. Its clarity is without a doubt Tahoe's most distinctive characteristic. Restoring and protecting Lake Tahoe is a critical priority. As residents of the Tahoe region, we've had a significant impact on Tahoe's environment. It's our responsibility to care for it.
The majority of pollutants that enter Lake Tahoe come from the urban areas.
Now with urbanization, we've introduced disturbance to the soils, to the landscape, and we've increased the production of very fine particles.
These fine soil particles suspended in the lake's water are responsible for 2/3 of Lake Tahoe's total clarity loss. At the same time, our urban landscape has replaced much of the natural wetlands that used to filter stormwater entering the lake.
We're lucky enough that we get to live here full time. It's not a national park, so we have to do our part to protect this place.
Restoration and conservation are so critical here that the Lake Tahoe Environmental Improvement Program, or EIP, was created to help implement measures to improve the local environment and lake clarity. Homeowners have a crucial role in supporting the EIP.
It's required that all property owners implement BMPs. It's really their contribution to the EIP. It's the private contribution that matches against the public contribution.
BMPs manage stormwater on site. They're the cornerstone of preserving water quality and clarity in Lake Tahoe. BMPs and landscaping go hand in hand.
Do it all together. It's just cleaning up your landscape, making a conservation landscape happen.
Properly installed and well-maintained BMPs on your property are a crucial component of a Tahoe-friendly landscape.
Healthy watersheds actually infiltrate most of their water. It's actually dispersed across the landscape and then it soaks into the soil. As it soaks into the soils actually remove particles. The particles are removed like a filter, like a sand filter. And that's the process by which the natural system keeps the water clean. Most of the BMPs function by mimicking processes that occur naturally.
Good soil is the foundation of a healthy landscape. BMPs are essential in keeping soil on site so plants can thrive and enhance soil stabilization.
A healthy topsoil has a nice balance of air. That air fills up with water during a rain event or irrigation cycle. It has plenty of organic material to hold on to the moisture and to support a living ecosystem.
This delicate layer supports plant communities. Their roots hold soil in place, and their leaves lessen the impact from falling rain and melting snow. The simplest way to protect topsoil is to keep it undisturbed, but that's sometimes unavoidable in an urban environment.
It's very common for the soil to be disturbed around construction of roads and homes, or if you're parking on it. So integrating organic material back into the soil will return it to a more steady, natural state.
Protect topsoil with a layer of organic mulch. If you compost organic plant material at home, you'll get a continuous supply of soil amendment and top dressing while reducing yard waste. Avoid using chemical pesticides and fertilizers. They can weaken the health of your topsoil and spill from your property into storm drains. Remember, healthy plants stabilize soil, but they need a good foundation to survive. Bare dirt driveways are a significant threat to Lake Tahoe's famed clarity. Imagine the weight of your car or truck and its impact on the fragile topsoil layer.
It collapses the air pockets and changes the soil structure so it can no longer absorb stormwater or be a healthy environment to support plant life.
Vehicle tires also transport soil particles to our roads and gutters, where they wash into the stormwater system, creeks, and streams. So it makes sense that driveway paving in Tahoe is mandatory. The most commonly used material is asphalt because it's durable. Tahoe driveways must not only endure year-round car and truck traffic, but be able to survive a beating from snow plows during winter months. When possible, newly paved driveways should be side-sloped to convey stormwater back onto the property. If that isn't possible, They need to be equipped with a slotted channel drain or an asphalt or concrete swale to redirect stormwater into an infiltration system, such as a trench. Water needs to have a place where sediment will settle or filter instead of being carried from your driveway to the public stormwater system, which drains directly to the lake.
The planning needs to be done so that the runoff from the driveway will flow not into the street, but into an infiltration system on the property where it will go into the soil.
If your driveway is already paved but does not have proper drainage, you must retrofit it. Installing slotted channel drains in an existing driveway involves cutting the concrete, placing and leveling the drain, and pouring concrete around it. You may prefer to hire a contractor for this retrofit. Place a sediment trap and infiltration system at the downstream end of the driveway drain. Tahoe does not have pre-treatment for stormwater, so the idea is to treat it in place. BMPs are designed to mimic natural systems, but in cases where that's impossible, like your driveway, the next best thing is to move the water to a BMP on your property. You just invested time and money in a newly paved driveway and drainage system. Protect adjacent areas by installing parking barriers. They'll ensure that planted areas and bare soil are kept off limits to vehicles. In fact, it's a good idea to protect any delicate natural area on your property. Install parking barriers that are sturdy and well placed. Boulders or fencing are best. Mark boundaries so plow drivers can see them during a storm. When the snow melts, double check to make sure they haven't gotten dislodged or damaged. Water running down steep, bare slopes and hillsides takes soil with it. This is especially true on man-made slopes created by construction grading. This property, while still under construction, is a clear reminder of how easily unprotected soil on steep slopes gets carried away from a site. If you have a slope that is greater than 50% in steepness, you'll need to install structural BMPs like terraces and retaining walls. The goal is to slow the water and create pockets of vegetation to minimize impact and allow for infiltration.
Here we have a block wall that was created without any mortar. We took a slope that was really steep and we created a relatively flat planting area. It's a terrace. It can rain as hard as it wants and there's not going to be a bunch of erosion happening on this slope because it's stabilized by these structures.
Slopes less than 50% can be vegetated or protected with rock and mulch, but the steeper the slope, the less effective these options become. You can use any combination of features as long as they slow the flow and infiltrate water. One of the erosion problems that's common and fairly easy for property owners to address is runoff from roofs.
The rain will pour right off that roof eave like a little waterfall. We call that the drip line of the house.
Erosion occurs when roof runoff hits unprotected soil. Drip line BMPs will shield the soil and promote infiltration. The size of the drip line treatment depends on the size and height of the roof and how easily your soil absorbs water. When possible, extend the drip line BMP 5 feet from your house so it can also function as a non-combustible buffer to maintain fire defensible space. Prepare for installation by examining your roof drip line and surrounding areas during and after a storm. Notice how water flows from the roof eave. Also, look down at the soil for signs of erosion under the drip line and downslope from it. Here's an example of how to install your drip line BMP. After you decompact the soil under the drip line, begin by creating a border with large cobble. This will keep additional soil from migrating into the area and contain the smaller rock that is placed within the border. For best performance, layer the materials you use. Begin at the bottom by covering bare dirt with small gravel so the water can infiltrate slowly down to the soil. Add a layer of filter fabric to prevent sediment and other debris from filling in the spaces between the small gravel. The top layer should be something solid and stable, like larger gravel, riprap, or cobble, so it can absorb and mitigate the impact of the falling water. Soil underneath decks needs to be covered with drain rock, so water seeping through the gaps doesn't end up washing out the soil below. Drip lines and deck treatments are easy to install and are highly effective. Make them a priority. Gravel infiltration systems, such as the trenches commonly used under roof drip lines and along driveways, provide small spaces between the rocks to collect stormwater, while swales and basins, referred to as open systems, provide 100% empty space for water to collect and then slowly soak into the ground. This example of a rock-lined swale has a subsurface perforated pipe that allows water to seep out as it flows to a small infiltration basin at the end of the system. Here, excess water can safely collect and then permeate the soil below. The idea is to slow excess runoff while directing it to areas that are suitable for infiltration. Use a sediment trap downstream of drains to pre-treat water by allowing the sediment to settle before entering your swales and basins. Sediment traps make it easier to keep your BMPs clean and functioning because it takes less time and effort to remove sediment from the trap than from an underground infiltration system or basin. Swales and basins can be covered with either rock, plants, or grass to keep soil in place. When properly designed, swales can mimic natural dry creek beds and add an attractive element to your landscaping. Nurturing healthy soil and protecting landscapes from erosion are the initial necessary steps to support vegetation. You'll need to select plants, shrubs, and trees suited to Tahoe's dry summers, snow-blanketed winters, and nutrient-poor soils. There are also microclimates within your landscape to consider.
You have to use your investigative skills and go out and see what's growing in that environment.
This is a lupin, and it's a good native plant.
Native plants should be your first choice. They are hardy, easy to care for, and they don't require chemical fertilizers. They'll help nurture the local ecosystem by fostering a habitat for local insects, birds, and other wildlife. If native plants are placed in the right spot, they will thrive with little water after they're established. There are even plants available that mimic natives and are adapted to Tahoe's climate. They'll add color and variety to your garden. Take good care of them, and they'll keep out unwanted invaders like weeds and other non-Tahoe friendly plants.
Mulching around your plants is so important. It's the number one thing that people can do, and it can make a really big difference in their landscape.
Use up to 3 inches of mulch on bare soil around your plants. Mulch will not only prevent erosion, but help retain moisture to keep those new plants healthy. Converting resource-hungry, non-functional turf areas to beautiful native and Tahoe-adapted landscapes is gaining in popularity. Turf conversions save water, keep pollutants such as excess nutrients from fertilizer out of our waterways, attract beneficial insects, and provide habitat for birds. Turf conversions also add diversity to your landscape. Take time to consider your landscape's natural potential to support turf.
If you're re-landscaping your yard and you want to maintain those functional turf areas, you want to pick the spot that doesn't bake in the sun all day, because that's the area that is going to require a lot of water.
So if you plan to keep some or won't be doing a conversion right away, here are some tips to best manage the lawn you keep. Go chemical-free. Use lawn clippings and compost for slow-release nutrient delivery. If you do use fertilizer, be sure it's organic and formulated for slow release. This will prevent excess chemicals from getting washed into the watershed. Always choose phosphorus-free fertilizer in the Tahoe region. Phosphorus feeds algae, which degrades our pristine Tahoe rocks and beaches. Raise your mower deck to keep the grass blades long. This will reduce water consumption. Don't let your turf get compacted. Aerate so water and air can get to the roots. Pressure to conserve water is increasing, so harvesting and conserving it makes sense. Water-saving elements like rain gardens, dry creek beds, and rain barrels work well, but conservation doesn't stop there. Installing new landscaping is a good opportunity to update your irrigation system.
Irrigation technology has gone through a huge change the last 5 years.
Smart irrigation controllers and sensors can adapt your watering schedule to soil moisture and weather conditions. Even basic timers will afford you more control over your irrigation schedule by using budget features or multiple programs. Install new high-efficiency sprinkler heads. They'll go a long way in reducing water consumption.
The average sprinkler head in the United States is about 52% efficient. That means only half of the water that's going through your pipes is actually getting to your plant material. If you retrofit to efficient sprinkler nozzles, you could be using about 80% of that water in your landscape instead.
Group plants in your garden according to their water needs so you can maximize irrigation efficiency. Wildfires are a very real threat in the Sierra. Being prepared is the best defense. Your landscape is the buffer that could save your home from an oncoming fire.
The definition of defensible space is that area between your house and an oncoming wildfire where the vegetation has been managed to reduce the fire threat. It provides a safe area for firefighters to defend your home, and in the event that there are not firefighters available, it helps the house survive on its own without assistance.
Make your landscape lean, clean, and green. Plants should be properly spaced and pruned so fire can't easily spread.
The general rule of thumb we use for separation between shrubs is 2 times the height of the shrub. And so, for example, on this dogwood right here, if it was 2 foot tall, we'd want a separation of about 4 feet, more or less, between the branches between these 2 shrubs.
In addition to proper spacing, choose green herbaceous plants that die back to the ground each winter, or plants that will not be a significant source of fuel for fire. Use ground covers and small shrubs that contain a lot of moisture. Also, be sure to clean up flammable debris like pine needles. Prune lifeless limbs from trees and remove dead plants. Most importantly, make a 5-foot non-combustible zone around the entire perimeter of your house. Your BMPs already serve this purpose if armored with fireproof materials like rock or cobble. Simultaneously installing or updating your fire defensible space, BMPs, and water conservation measures makes sense. Doing them together will save you time and money, beautify your landscape, and protect your family and your home. There are lots of things you can do on your property to protect wildlife. Create a hospitable environment for beneficial insects, birds, and other wildlife with native plants for food, trees and birdhouses for shelter, and of course, clean water. Maintain natural areas, corridors where wildlife can safely pass between developed land. And remember, fed bears are dead bears. Don't feed them and contain all trash in bear-resistant containers. Best management practices and eco-friendly landscaping are part of home ownership in Tahoe. They are an investment in future property values because they ensure a healthy and attractive environment. It takes some education and investment, but there are plenty of resources at your disposal. It's a privilege to live in Tahoe. The least we can do is to go the extra mile as stewards of our property.
All anybody has to do is look out to Lake Tahoe to answer the question, is it worth it? It's absolutely worth it. I think we have not only an imperative to try, but to succeed.
We're all in it together if we want to clean up Lake Tahoe and preserve the environment in this beautiful region we call home.